stakeholders and partners under one roof, according to the chairperson of the Board of Directors of the agency, speaks volumes of the agency's readiness to serving the interests of the public for a meaningful development. The chairperson gave a rundown of the agency's activities during the year under review.
To this end, the agency convenes monthly site meetings and undertakes regular site visits or projects as a means of effectively monitoring the progress of the projects, addressing the critical issues and problems at the right time, and helping progress of the agency in delivering quality projects within budget and time. Indeed, the agency has registered a good record over the years in delivering quality works and within projects deadlines to the satisfaction of our clients.
GAMWorks, according to its board chair, has executed many life-changing projects during the year 2010, with dedication and commitment, earning them respect and trust from across the board. The Director General attributed to the successes registered by his agency to a highly motivated, hard-working, committed and dedicated human resource base, equipped with the necessary knowledge and skills.
Management has, with the support of the board, has put in place measures to motivate and reward staff. A salary scale is in place. All staff are members of the agency's non-contributory pension scheme with the National Provident Fund of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation. Staff appraisals are carried out annually and performance bonuses paid out. In addition, a medical insurance scheme is in place for staff and their families. Group personal accident insurance has also been provided. Management recognizes the importance of continuous professional development and endeavors to provide training opportunities for staff.
The event also saw the adoption of reports with recommendations and suggestions from the participants aimed at strengthening the agency. Aissatou Badian Sarr, GRTS.
Malaria experts from ECOWAS member countries have been reviewing the 2011 malaria roadmaps of participating countries and developing new ones for the year 2012. Babukar Kamara reports on the closing of the high-level convergence organized by the West Africa Rollback Malaria Regional Network and the National Malaria Control Program.
These are the words of organizers following a 5-day sub-regional seminar on the Rollback Malaria Program for the 16 West African states.
We have 16 countries coming together. Each will talk about your program. So in so doing, we share experience, we share information, and we share best practice. And that is the only way forward for malaria control. We need to be having regular consultative meetings. We also need to have a strong partnership at all levels, to enable us win the fight against malaria.
The annual sub-regional conclave review annual work plans of member states and develop new ones for the coming year. The ambition hails from a commitment made by African heads of states in Abuja 2006, meant to scale down the malaria epidemic by 100% in 2015.
Given the Gambia's current position in the Rollback Malaria Board, we shall work with all partners to advance the malaria agenda forward at all levels. In so doing, we also need the support of the entire partnership.
The 5-day West African Rollback Malaria Network meeting discussed success stories and challenges of the Rollback Malaria Program and prominently calls on West African governments and donors to scale up resource mobilization and allocation. Babukar Kamara, GRTS.
The President's Banjulunding Watermelon Farm was the site of a recent weeding exercise that attracted over 100 police recruits and other volunteers from Lamin Sanchaba. Fatou Jases tells us more about that activity and another that involved harvesting of Professor Jammeh's rice crop.
Of the rainy season is usually characterized by final stages of weeding and harvesting. More than 100 police recruits and youths from Lamin Sanchaba on Saturday descended on President Jammeh's watermelon in Banjulunding. The exercise was meant to show solidarity with the President's Back to the Land call. Ansumana F. Sanyang, who spoke on behalf of the recruits, described the President's Back to the Land initiative as a noble one, and Ansumana urged all Gambians to work together in order to become food self-sufficient.
First, I'll start with the description of the Back to the Land call. In as much as we are independent, if we are not economically independent, or we depend on others to be able to feed ourselves, we still are not independent. It means we are dependent on others. So I think it is a wise call. It is a call that everybody should respond to.
Perhaps Stephen Correa, also a volunteer from Lamin, was impressed with the turnout of the youth on the farm. Adjacent to the watermelon farm, women from various settlements are harvesting the rice and corn field. The farm manager, London Conter, thanked the volunteers and launched an appeal for more hands to come over and complete the harvest. Speaker after speaker thanked the president for revitalizing the culture of farming in the country, whilst promising to rally behind the president and APRC in next month's presidential election. With such exercise taking place in various locations within the Greater Banjul area, there is high hope that the country's drive for food self-sufficiency is not a distant reality. For Grts News, I am Fatou Jassi.
You can follow that story and other Grts programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor Grts Radio Live. From there we take our first break. We'll be right back. Saudi Arabia is making arrangements to bring home the body of its crown prince. Sultan bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud died in a New York hospital early Saturday from an undisclosed illness. His death could have a significant impact on Saudi Arabia's future and its policies. As Saudi's defense minister for decades, the crown prince was well known and very active on the global stage. But as CNN senior international correspondent Nick Robertson reports, in his later years, poor health led to changes at the top of Saudi Arabia's royal palace.
Crown Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz was next in line for the Saudi throne, a half-brother to the current ruler, King Abdullah, and deputy prime minister since his full brother, King Fahad, died in 2005. For almost half a century, Sultan was the Desert Kingdom's defense minister, meeting regularly with visiting dignitaries. He took a leading role overseeing Saudi Arabia's involvement in the 1991 Gulf War against Iraq, where Saudi hosted a coalition of some 500,000 troops from more than 30 countries. But in the past few years, he had battled cancer with surgery in the United States as recently as late February 2009. He had also suffered various ailments associated with age and diet and had undergone an operation in Riyadh in 2005. Of his many children, perhaps the best known internationally is Prince Bandar, Saudi's former ambassador to the US and a friend of the Bushes. In recent years, Sultan and Bandar had been dogged by scandals about alleged payoffs surrounding defense contracts, notably with BAE Systems over the supply of British armaments in the 1980s. BAE, Sultan and Bandar all denied any wrongdoing, but it was his ill health that led King Abdullah to give the nod to another brother to prepare to take up Sultan's royal duties. The relatively conservative Prince Nayef, a full brother to Sultan, who had been Interior Minister for the past 35 years, was appointed next Crown Prince. Almost 10 years younger than his half-brother, King Abdullah, he appeared a healthier option than Sultan to have as next in line. Prince Sultan was thought to be in his mid-80s, but his exact age is not public.
U.S. officials has always thought that there will probably be a U.S. troop presence in Iraq after current withdrawal deadline at the end of this year. But on Friday, President Barack Obama announced that more than an 8-year mission will end as scheduled. So far, the war has cost more than 5,000 coalition forces their lives, as well as those of countless Iraqi civilians. CNN's Pentagon correspondent Chris Lawrence reports.
Some 39,000 American troops are still spread out over 18 bases in Iraq, and they've all got 10 weeks to get out.
Today, I can say that our troops in Iraq will definitely be home for the holidays.
The U.S. military is running up to 400 transportation convoys a week and has moved out more than 1.5 million pieces of equipment. It was President Bush who signed an agreement with Iraq to remove all American troops by the end of this year. Obama made it a campaign promise when he ran for president, and one of his potential opponents for re-election questioned, quote, whether this decision is the result of a naked political calculation or simply sheer